Hey, my name is April Bottoms, and the educational thinker that I chose to do is Mr. Edward L. Thorndike. So, a little bit about him. Mr. Thorndike was born on August 3rd, 1874, and later passed away on August 9th, 1949. Now, during his time, Mr. Thorndike is referred to as the founder of modern educational psychology. He influenced and is an influencer of behavioralism. So during his time on Earth, Mr. Thorndike was thought of as a very successful man and a very successful student. He had attended Westler University in the concentration of science, where he then graduated and attended Harvard University grad school with a concentration of science. It was there where he took his very first psychology class. And that's where he knew he grew the interest of psychology and wanted to further education in psychology. So by his sophomore year, Mr. Thorndike transferred to Columbia University and studied under Mr. James Kettle. Once graduating, Mr. Thorndike had grew to the interest of behavior. How do we respond in our situations and in environments? So it was there where he had two discoveries that are very well known. One, the puzzle box, and two, the law of effect. The puzzle box was one of his inventions where he built this box, and inside this box there was a lever, and he would place animals in it, but in particularly cats. So the cat would have to push this lever, and the lever would open the box, and the cat could get cheese. So he found that each time the cat pushed the lever, it got cheese. And the cat realized that, hey, each time I do this, I'm getting rewarded. So through that, positive reinforcement was occurring. So he found that with a positive response to behavior, that behavior will occur again. And he also noticed that a negative response to those behaviors will weaken that behavior. So overall, the puzzle box was the trial and error theory of learning, of positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. So his discovery from the puzzle box later had him go to what is known as the law of effect. And the law of effect summarizes responses immediately followed by a satisfaction will be more likely to occur, which means if we respond immediately to a positive behavior, that behavior is going to occur again. However, if a behavior is followed by dissatisfaction or discomfort, that will become less likely to occur. So overall, Mr. Thorndike had two main factors. One, positive reinforcement leads to that behavior happening again, and two, negative reinforcement leads to weaker behavior and extension. But for these two to work, if we catch positive behavior occurring, we need to automatically give feedback to that child or person for that behavior to occur again and again and again. Because if we do not give that automatic feedback, we're losing it. And we don't know if they're going to be able to have the occurrence of positive behavior. So Mr. Thorndike, as mentioned before, influenced many. But one in particular that we all know that had a huge impact was Mr. B.F. Skinner. Mr. Skinner was attracted to Mr. Thorndike's the puzzle box. So he decided to create his own version of the puzzle box. And this led to the positive reinforcement and punishment of negative behavior. And the second thing that Mr. Thorndike influenced was the behavioralism and the development. Because of the law and effect, this principle had an impact on behavioralism and the development, which had a major influence on the development of behavioralism and was the most dominant in the school of psychology. So Mr. Thorndike is very strongly associated with psychology because of the theory of law of effect and the puzzle box. So going towards the end of Mr. Thorndike's life, he accomplished a lot, such as an association with the American School of Psychology. He is known as the father of modern day psychology. He is president of the American Psychology Association. He was elected president of the American Psychology Association and was the very first psychologist to enter the National Academy of Science. In conclusion, Mr. Thorndike introduced the concept of positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. Second, he was the first to apply these principles to the area of learning. And third, he's known as the father of modern day psychology. Thank you.